Having trouble in your love life? I have the answers. It's called Secrets of Birthdays, the Love and Lust Report. The biggest problem usually is people choose the wrong person. Not anymore. Find out your birthday secrets, available online at secretsofbirthdays.com.
Soul Garden.
Hello, Your Honor, and welcome back to Soul Horoscopes Weekly Edition. I'm your host of the universe, Christopher Witecki. And we're mixing things up. This is through the suggestions of our viewers. We're now putting our advertisements before and in the middle of the horoscopes. We have to have advertisements to keep it going for free, but hopefully this will be a little bit more agreeable to you. And come on down to soulgarden.me. It can be a home away from home. There's no place like Soul Garden. Stacy's writing about the forgotten LTRs. That's an article about friendship. How friendship is a very important long-term relationship. And where are you with your friendships? Because that's what Libras are talking about this month. They're talking about long-term relationships. As we move into this week, you're going to wrap up your new policy for LTRs. Hopefully you went through a quantum leap in a whole new approach to relationships in this era. And in this next week, you're going to put the finishing touches onto it. Now on Monday, Mars rules the day. And Mars doesn't just rule the day, it's direct. It went direct over the weekend, which means we are feeling masculine, aggressive, testosterone. It feels like spring. This is where the birds and the bees starting to play. You might be feeling that as well. Mars means it's time to take action steps. Take steps towards the relationships that you want to have. If this means transforming a relationship you're in, take those steps. If this means taking the steps necessary to draw in the one you want, take those steps. If you want to end one and you know it, take those steps. Take those steps on Monday. Now the moon is in Pisces and crossing Chiron, so whatever happens, there might be a little anxiety as you are coming to terms with feeling okay in the moment. But there's an opportunity to heal with the moon crossing Chiron. And fear is starting to bubble up in this red line between how your life is going to change and whether or not that's in sync with your beliefs and your life's purpose. All right, so a fear of life's purpose being shifted, maybe as a result of taking steps in that relationship pattern as well. On Tuesday, it's time to hold space. So hold space in your given relationships, hold space in your marriage, your relationship to yourself, hold space in your friendships and honor the ones that are good. Put out gratitude in that day. This is a good gratitude day. The moon is still in Pisces, so you're hyper aware. Good day to the gym, good day to plug into yourself. And this square, which I brought up last week, really begins to take more pressure again. Mercury has now entered into marriage and partnership, so you're a lot more articulate to communicate what your needs are. You're a lot more clear on what your needs are in your marriage. But Uranus here is threatening to quantum, to take those thoughts to a higher quantum level. Your mind has not caught up with your life when it comes to relationships. That's what this means. So on Tuesday, you're still feeling reality, but you're starting to think in quantum terms with relationships. I think that's definitely happening. And this fear, this is what I was going to, is the fear of you stepping into a new relationship, which means you step out of your childhood, you step out of the way you were raised, and there's fears between stepping out of that pattern, I think, for Librans to shake off. On Wednesday, the devil tempts us back. That's emotions pulling us into the old marriage fights, the old marriage traps, the old marriage traps. Don't go there. Take your feelings and push for the direction that you've been fighting for all month long. And that's what I'll be texting out to people who are in the Guardian Agency and watched over by me personally. Things heat up because the moon crosses Mercury and Uranus, so you're now feeling, or your emotions are catching up to. The emotions have gone all the way around the clock, so now emotions are catching up to this whole relationship marriage issue. And so you are maybe feeling the results of this work, but don't get pulled back. Now Mars direct, that is pushing you to go ahead and start weed whacking, facing fears. A lot of this might have been that you were not willing to face fears. Maybe fears of being alone, fears of being single, fear. This is fear fighting. Don't worry, you won't fear fight too much or go too far. Neptune, which is intuitive in the moment, keeps you in the moment. So as long as you keep in your moment, you won't go too fast, too far. And that's what Librans all fear, because it throws you off balance, right? Then Thursday, big shift. The sun moves into Taurus and we move into 0 degrees. I always say 0 means 0. It's that no man's land between two states of awareness. The earth is a little weird, feels a little strange. It is the shift now in focus. You've just spent 1 month working on long-term relationships and putting them into a new direction. You will now spend 30 days changing your trust and intimacy issues. You're going to have to change, first, your self-trust. Now, this is something you already went through and backed up again with Jupiter, all right? So this is not a new issue. In fact, if you've watched your Act 2 video, you know that boundaries and trust are the single largest part of your soul that must change in order for you to get what you want everywhere else in your life. So you being comfortable with making changes in the beginning, I mean just comfortable stepping into the hot tub or stepping into the cold pool, into something you're not quite used to, but you've already prearranged, this is what needs to be, that is where the strong Libras will be going and will succeed from. This whole topic begins, and it starts with self-trust. That's chapter 1. Do you trust yourself or not? If so, why? We've got to get to the bottom of it. We've got to clean it up. And these two squares and fears are still working. So a lot of stuff still about relationships. Your emotions on Thursday, still about marriage. Probably you're feeling out for the first time, can I really do this? Can I really cross this line? We come back after this brief commercial. I'm going to talk about your Friday. I'm going to give you your Friday happy dance and your full weekend forecast after this. And we are back to Soul Horoscopes. Thank you, for Your Honor, for watching that commercial. And that brings us to Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday. And this is going to be a fabulous Friday, I must say. It's the beginning of fabulous feelings for everyone, thanks to this little present from God called a Grand Trine, or a soul pyramid in Earth, as I like to talk about it. Because when these three planets, or any three planets, come together in this type of triangle, what it does is give you a bird's eye perspective of your life, and you start to come to grand conclusions and grow quickly. Now, we've already had this earlier in the spring with Jupiter, but Jupiter was just opening up the ideas of things. Now your life actually clicks into gear, and you begin to see your entire life, your capital awareness, carried in this, okay? And what is this? Well, it's three fronts. On the one hand, it means you step into a new trust paradigm, trusting yourself for different reasons, having different boundary reasons, being aware of boundaries you weren't aware of, calling boundaries in the moment, using your new Libra 2.0 ego that is still being developed, and enforcing boundaries. All of that, right? Core, basic stuff, but still super important. Remember, boundaries determine the shape of something. So our boundaries are very important. So boundary change, which pushes for what? Mars over here is saying, all right, that means you're weed whacking, you're getting rid of fears, you're clearing out any issues that had doubt in the first place. So obviously, crappy boundaries led to self-doubt, apparently. And what does this do? It builds a new foundation. You are transplanting your soul garden into a new foundation of self-nurturing, a new way of emotionally relating to yourself. And when a Libra can emotionally relate to themselves in a better way, they can stay calm to make good judgments as judges, right? You must keep the ship calm. So all this is working in this direction and in your favor for you. Now, emotions on this first day of Friday are still one step back with relationships. So as you're starting to really feel new boundary changes, you're actually still kind of maybe coordinating it or orbiting it around your relationships, but that's okay. Then on Saturday, it is Light Cast Day, the most powerful day of the month to manifest our intentions. That's because the moon, which is a focusing agent of emotion, catches up to our capital awareness. So our emotions catch up to us, right? They've gone all the way around the clock and they catch up to us. And all this month's issues catch up to us. But for you, it catches up in the sense of boundaries. So with emotions hitting the sun, it becomes passionate. We become very passionate. Now, there's a good chance of Randy, by the way, where you want to try out these new boundaries right away. That's possible. That gets us pulled into things now, doesn't it? Certainly pulls us out of things too. But point is take that passion and project it spiritually, creatively, and with love in your heart as long as you can in a private meditation with yourself, and just envision how you want to trust in the future. How you want to be able to trust yourself when you're out having drinks alone with the girls. How you want to trust yourself with the choice of men or the choice of women. How you want to trust yourself with who you sleep with or don't. And how does that feel? What does that feel like? right? Those are the basics, and it really is trusting yourself, right? Which then Machine whacks the weeds and steps in and transplants the soul garden into a new foundation. Then on Sunday, it is Jupiter Fest. It is a feeling of Jupiter, unlimited possibilities. That's what Jupiter represents, unlimited possibility, infinity. That would be the symbol for Jupiter if I came up with it my own. The moon will cross over Jupiter, which means your emotions now seeing this new trust. Well, if I can trust myself here, here, and here, and here, and here, that means pa-bow, that's what it's going to be. That means whatever your emotions run with, and that is what you need to do. What you're doing there is go ahead and run with that ball. Don't act on it, but just run with the ball and see the possibilities, because you are literally stretching your consciousness when you go with that, especially when you use emotions and passion to do it. So it's definitely going to be a fun Jupiter Fest Sunday. All right, Libra, that's all I have for this week's forecast, but I will see you again in just 7 days. Until then, live, love, be.